Welcome back. Weight loss nutrition is simpler than you think. Saw this online. See if you're also struggling with this. Is good nutrition really that hard? Everyone says eat healthy, but it's not that simple. Healthy food can be expensive. Also, when you're busy or tired, fast food is just easier. There's also so much info online. One person says carbs are bad, another says fat is bad. Then someone says just eat high protein. It gets confusing. And you're not the only one going through that. That's why I studied nutrition, worked in public health. So I wanted to get effective messaging out so people know how their health supports their life so they can use it to lead to healthy and fulfilling life of their dreams. In this video, I'm going to break down all of these things and get you 3 simple tips for healthy eating. Let's get into it. My name is Reggie. I'm the founder of Fit for Freelance. I help business owners lose weight and feel their best without crash diets or guilt. If you're ready to get your next steps going, take the free 3-minute Live Aligned scorecard link below to uncover what's blocking your weight loss. Now, first thing I want to say is there's no macronutrient that is bad or good universally. So when people say like carbs are bad or fat is bad or anything kind of extreme like that, it all depends on the context. The diet choices are made in the context of the individual's lifestyle, environment, culture, desires. So what you want, how you're using your body, if you're strength training, your performance needs, how you want to live in general, how you grew up, your nutrition education, your local surroundings, like all these other factors are more relevant to you than specific dramatic guidance on, generally saying carbs are bad. Usually if someone's saying something that extreme, they're doing it for marketing and clicks. It can be very misleading and confusing because you don't know. Another thing is discernment. Anytime you're getting all these mixed messages, you have to figure out if you trust the person who is sharing that information, like what's their credibility and background, if it's relevant. Like you can get these mics online and a camera and set up a YouTube channel pretty cheaply and spread a lot of misinformation. So be careful. A lot of people out there don't know what they're talking about. All right. So the next thing I want to talk about, everyone says eat healthy, but it's not that simple. Healthy food can be expensive. And I do agree with that. However, it doesn't have to be expensive. You can get frozen foods and canned foods, especially the fruits and vegetables, pretty readily, and they keep for a long time. So it doesn't feel like you're really like increasing your cost of groceries too much. And then fast food has been quite expensive. Even though it's more convenient, the trade-offs there are big. I've talked about this before in the Oprah's weight loss special recap that I did. I'll link that below so you can check it out. We're talking about the environments that affect everyone's health in the community and then how you make decisions. So you can make more effective decisions that match the life that you want to lead. Now let's get into these 3 tips that people could incorporate, make nutrition simpler. First one I have, reduce added sugars and fried foods. Now, these are things that they're just best practices when it comes to public health, understanding your health, making healthy eating easier, and getting fewer calories. Foods with added sugars add a lot of calories for the volume without adding extra nutrients, really. So be careful with that. And it's not just like foods with sugar in them, but actually foods with added sugar in them, like where you can imagine that sugar has been poured onto it, or if it says sugar added, like a sugar sweetened fruit, that kind of stuff. So look out for that. The Dietary Guidelines for America recommends limiting added sugars to less than 10% of your total calories, which is about 50 grams per day in a 2,000 calorie diet. So that's probably like one soda, right? So look out for that when it comes to healthier eating. So first tip, reduce added sugar and fried foods. Fried foods also a great way to increase your calories without adding a lot of extra nutrition, because what they're doing with fried foods, covering that in flour, which has energy, and you're deep frying it in oil, which has even more energy. So there's like a calorie dense food that doesn't add a lot of nutrients. So look out for these. They can tank your diet pretty easily. Next tip I have, the second one, eat the recommended 5+ servings of fruits, veggies, beans, and whole grains per day. This is a public health guideline that they're still going with. Also, the My Plate was a really good way to break it down where half your foods are fruits and vegetables. That's because most people aren't getting enough fiber. Cover this in another video. 2 out of 3 people think they're getting enough fiber, but most of them aren't. You need about 25 to 30 grams of fiber per day, and that helps you in all kinds of ways. There's health benefits to fiber on its own, but also in terms of your weight loss journey. If you have more high fiber foods, then you're less likely to get foods with added sugars and fried foods. You're more satisfied with your eating plan. You don't feel like you're starving yourself or depriving yourself. all kinds of good stuff. So get this 25 to 30 grams of fiber per day, focus on that. And that can really direct your diet in the right way because you'll be making more healthy choices with those fruits, veggies, beans, and whole grains and less of the fried foods. And you'll find that it kind of feels better. Like your body will feel better. You'll sleep better. There's all kinds of benefits. I'll link to a video about fiber below. Third tip I have to make healthy eating simple, make still or sparkling water your main drink, plus your source of calcium. Now, some people will get stuck when they drink a lot of sodas that add a lot of calories, right? A lot of added sugars in that. Juice, a lot of added sugar in that as well. So just pay attention to this. Drinking more water, it doesn't always have to be like, tap water. It can be flavored waters, sparkling waters, all that. You also want to make sure you have your sources of calcium. So if you're using milk or almond milk or orange juice with calcium added as your primary source of calcium, keep that going. Consider your other food sources of calcium like greens, broccoli, and stuff like that, but make sure you're getting enough calcium. And then besides that, once you reach that requirement in your daily value, make sure that the rest of your drinks are mostly water, because that way you don't drink as many calories and you stay hydrated. And that also helps signal your food cues effectively so you don't overeat salty snacks or less healthy foods. So those are 3 tips I have for you. Reduce added sugars and fried foods, increase your fruits, veggies, beans, and whole grains, and make water your main drink. If you want personalized tips, take the Live Aligned scorecard link below. Let me know what your favorite healthy eating tip is in the comments below. Then next you can watch why fiber matters more than dieting for weight loss. I'll put that video here. That's today's message. As always, keep practicing. Peace.